Hello, welcome again. Time for another chat to talk about some more things with existence, and want to jump right into some more deity and divinity and kind of further clarify and explain some things. Got off onto some offshoots and other aspects of existence. But let's get right into it with deity being more personalizable of God. There's different levels that you think of us as persons, and we have different personality, the bestowment of universal Father. So there's other levels of physical person or this plane of existence or dimension or what have you, level of reality. There's pre-personal, those father fragments, installations of God that already dwell in us, those little installations of the Father, what I've always just claimed as God until I understood the breakdown more, the different levels of ministering or even the mysteries that still confound the entities that supposedly authored this book. But so the indwelling Father fragment that's been dwelling in the minds and hearts of men for a long time and helping guide towards truth and reality of what this existence has been about. And there's a lot of confusion from this planet having exceptional differences among others on other inhabited worlds out there in this vast universe that's observable and what's not observable. But, so one way is that pre-personal indwelling Father fragment. Another is super personal, and some of that's stuff that get to on a more spiritual level and survive this world. And those realities that do survive, more spiritual, love, beauty, goodness, and that's what is divine, what divinity is more of. It's those things, those characteristics of deity. And what encompasses them all is love, all that. And beauty can be tricky. You think of it as like beauty that knows no vanity. What is always beautiful, or what is beautiful may not always be good, but what is good is always beautiful in my aspects. So break down deity in those 7 levels, like name off whatever: static, potential, associative, creative, evolutionary, supreme, and ultimate. I mean, there's levels that get to be incomprehensible and probably always will be, because that's what God is and what is not, and what can only be comprehended in his dwelling and in his mind, and to try and understand the mind of God and say this or that or everything, to me would be foolish. And just mortal minds trying to yearn for the truth and want to better live in a world and understand in a way to live better and help each other along. And I think that's part of the spirit of truth that's helping blanket us, and that's another minister of God's and part of counseling to where point us in the right direction and help each other out. But some things are hard to explain, get across, and even if you read them 3 or 4 times, it's coming back to reading this second time, and some things I had to read 3 or 4 times, and even the author explained that there's some words and phrases and meanings that way you can conceptualize them may just not come across how it can be gotten on so many levels, or how it can be profound in those intangibles, those feelings, those spiritualities that exist with them. Is little difficult to comprehend and almost seem unreal in this material world. But the further you get to the spiritual and the more spirit minded, more spirit reality, the closer you get to that paradise scheme, that ascension scheme, to where you're actually up there in those levels, and those beings that have a different order of creatorship, they probably look at this material plane as more unreal than their one they're existing in the more truer realities, to where our shadowy realm that we get the filtered light, not light without heat that comes from the center of all things, which it comes still in other phases and development, but we still get that light even on its filtered levels and in quarantines or what have you, circuitries that are cut off and but when it said God, said let there be light in Genesis, it was talking about the sun, his creator son, and even further down in Genesis it says that when the waters separate into and development becomes a sky, then it even says let's fill the sky with lights, and there's different lights there, to separate day and night. So, whatnot. But there's a lot of good stuff in the Bible and this book I called Hub, the ranch book. But I've also been reading Greek stuff, and it's pretty awesome. Just learn more, and when you learn so much yourself, you got to share, and they call it witness or testifying. Witnessing basically was proclaiming, truth back in the old days, and that's what you did. Stood in and you witnessed with someone you knew to be under pressure from whatever accusations, and you can be helpful in that matter. And there's other meanings, I'm sure. But it's all amazing to be in more of a spirit mindedness and to be less thoughtful of trying to be better than everyone else and building your self-esteem in manners that are negative or false, and not trying to be arrogant or whatnot, but sometimes it can come off that way. And some things I'll say probably definitely seem narcissistic and arrogant, and those thoughts come in my head all the time. That it's not about you. It's not about you always, and it's it's hard to get away from that and to see that your skills and attributes that you can utilize in ways that show you that the reason why it's not about you is that it's about everyone. And there's two major commandments, and even this is in the Bible, and it says that like I believe that's when Jesus being questioned by the Pharisees, what's the greatest commandment in life, and it says to love God with all your heart. Love God the Father, all your heart, all of it. And then the second commandment's inherent in the first when talking about love. And part of what's surrounding us is God's creation, and there's other people and entities and creatures sharing it. And you love those just as much as you love yourself, your neighbor. Secondary to loving God, and it's inherent in that prime love. Love is such a dumbed down word for a symbol or have you for what it stands for and all the different levels that it can encompass, and we don't even know or even perceive yet, and that filtered down aspect that we are still progressing on and evolving into, always will be. Perfected beings, that brokenness that we have, admitting, that we can't do it alone, that we have to have the power of God, the essence of God, the spirit of God, whatever you want to call it. It's his domain. To say there's a secular aspect is kind of silly in my eyes, because having the omnipresence, omnipotence, the all everythingness of God, it means that the secular part is encompassing God, and he's always watching, and we're always under the spirit scope of the ministers of God, and God himself has probably always got some aspect keeping an eye on us, trying to help us and show us that it's better this way. Follow me. It's great over here. You can't even comprehend, and you're seeing just a little twinkle of it, and I'm down. I feel so different than I did 20 years of claiming allegiance to Jesus and the truth, and always been a truth seeker, but you find Jesus as claiming the truth and is the light, and the illuminator of a path to through him to God, and I understand that way better now. And it's not just about me understanding; it's showing everyone else that there he is inside, and carrying around that in your heart and soul, knowing that there's a better reality, that the spirit is so meaningful, and draw on it whenever you need. No matter where you go, you already are home. And that's what's also amazing, and those values and meanings that only going to get better and more appreciable, and be able to become more sociable to help others understand, and for me to learn more, because there's so much to learn, and never done being a student. When you lose sight of track of that, then you're off track, and you're basically living in your own God-minded selfishness and self-righteousness, and it's time to wake up and realize that there's more to learn, there's more to understand, there's more growth, always will be. That's what infinity means, and you can't ever understand all of it in different aspects, but there's a fragment of that infinity inside us, helping us, guide us, get us back home to where we can better understand it, and always be helpful to others searching on their way back home, wanting to feel that love more than anything else. It's amazing. Love y'all, guys. Peace.